All right, so before we dive into this one, I just want to clarify. The 2022 Ruckus Max is the one on the top, which is the black bat, and the 2024 Ruckus Max 2 is the white bat on the bottom. It's pretty easy to distinguish which one we're swinging in the clips here, but I did want to clarify that for anybody wondering. With that aside, let's dive into the video. All right, what up, Mother Truckers? BP Hero back at you. Out here doing a bat comparison today. Swinging the 2022 Suncoast Ruckus Max versus the 2024, I'll use air quotes around that loosely, Suncoast Ruckus Max. Both of these are 12-inch, two-piece. Both of these bats are 25-ounce, half-ounce in load. So I thought it'd be a really good way to do a comparison here between the two models going between two different years. But the big thing here is the fact that the 2022 is, in fact, I'll say temporarily suspended, because we don't know for sure if it's going to end up getting unsuspended, I'll say. But as of now, the black bat in the video, the 2022 model, is currently illegal in USSSA play. So since they came out with the 2024 model and it is in fact legal for play, I thought it'd be kind of an interesting comparison to see what something that is illegal deemed by UTRIP and something that's legal to swing. I feel like this would be a good way to have that comparison. Big thanks to Troy for getting both of these bats so we could do this comparison. Hitting our usual mix of balls here that you see in most of the videos we do. It's all hard stuff, maybe a handful of 52s mixed in here, 300 feet all the way around. And here's a compression for both bats. I'll put them up right here. The black one definitely has more swings on it, and as a result is testing quite a bit lower. But it does seem like the 2024 model is going to hold compression for a little while, because it's got just about the same amount, if not more, swings on it, and it's actually testing quite a bit higher. And this is kind of the interesting thing with doing these comparisons, because while we see the tester and we know which one should be the better bat, there's so many more variables that come into play here. The weighting of this thing compared between the 2022 and the 2024 was a pretty interesting thing to me. Yes, on paper they're the same bat, but the 22 model, which is the black one, almost felt like it could have passed as a balanced bat. There was not a lot of drive behind it. The 24 model, the Kirsten, was way easier to drive a ball with. I'm not a big 25-ounce bat guy, and I still didn't have a problem getting out of this field with this thing and even hitting the ball really hard pretty often. But if you take aside the loading and just look at the flat-out performance of the barrels, there's no doubt that the two are definitely comparable in terms of performance. The redeeming quality of the 22 model is the fact that the sweet spot is just humongous. And whether that be because of the handle that's got these bats in question, or it has something to do with the barrel tech as well, the black one was definitely way more forgiving. It was way easier to live on the sweet spot, which was kind of okay because we didn't care for the weighting, and it caused me to be a little bit inconsistent, but that big sweet spot definitely bailed me out. Just in its entirety, the whole 12-inch barrel was usable on the black one, and the white one just maintained a little bit of a stiffer feel altogether. Even as it broke in, the stiff feel never went away. So I think the stiff feel combined with maybe being a little bit tighter, whether it be the handle change or some tech change in the barrel, was a little bit harder to live on the sweet spot, but this bat will reward a good ball striker very well. And we know that from a durability standpoint, the 22 model is going to be durable. We haven't seen a ton of durability issues out of this bat and the similar ones that came from that line, whether it be the one or two piece. They seem to hold up pretty well. I've even seen some guys get a good amount of swings out of them, even using them in cold tournaments. And the 24 model also seems like it's going to be fairly durable. We've got a good amount of swings on this thing, and it's still testing pretty high, but it's still hitting really well, so we ain't mad about that either. So I think durability on these is going to be pretty good, going from one to the other, so that'll be a nice transition. If you had the 22 model and you can't swing it anymore and we're looking for something to replace it with, and you chose this. And going from one to the other is going to bring me to probably the only thing I would nitpick truly between the two bats. While I did mention that the sweet spot was different between the two, it's still usable and you could transition from one to the other pretty well, I feel like. But the big thing to take away here was I felt like I couldn't control the 22 model nowhere near as well as I could the 24, just because the weighting wasn't nearly the same between the two. If I had the 22 model and someone told me this was a half-ounce in load in my hands, I'm not sure I would believe it. And it made it hard. Like, you couldn't swing it like a bounce bat. You couldn't swing it like an in-load. Just there was no drive behind it. You really had to get everything behind the ball to get it to go somewhere, which thankfully was easy to do because of the big sweet spot, like I said. But I feel like the 24 was a pretty easy decision to say it was a better overall user-friendly bat. The in-load made it very easy to control, still drive the ball well. And like I said, I'll say it again, being a 25-ounce and still hitting the ball far and hard consistently was easy to do with this thing. So I feel like the control aspect definitely has to be considered towards the 24 model. So just to kind of recap where we're at with everything here between the comparison of these two bats, let's just take one last quick look here and have it all on the screen. Performance, I'm giving both of these a 9. No doubt that this is some of the top-notch performance in the game. Durability is going to be a 9 as well, just because, like I discussed, they both seem to take a licking and keep on coming back. Sweet spot is going to go to the black one, which was an 8. Compared to the white one, which was a 7. It was still big, it was still usable, but it would be kind of crazy to think that the black one wasn't easier to strike a ball with. And the big deciding factor here for me with these two bats was the control factor. And for that one, the black one is going to get a 6, and the white one gets an 8. The white one is a total package. It's a really good bat. Suncoast did a good job of hitting a home run with this after the CE2. Saved it big time here, and I feel like they got a winner on their hands here. So with all that being said, I would actually swing the 24 model over the quote-unquote suspended black model, which was the 2022. So I hope you enjoyed this bat comparison, guys. Thanks again to Troy for coming out and checking this thing out. Working on the bat comparison stuff. I tried to use numbers this time just to kind of give you a better idea how close the comparison was between the two. If you want to see something else or see something different or any kind of different format, hit me up. Let me know in the comments down below. What did you think of this one? What have you swung both of these? What did you think about them? So I'll catch up with you guys down there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Swing hard in case you hit it. BP Hero. Catch you next time.